They haven't 100% explained what's going on with the
questions.
Hermetic crate. Okay, so then that box, it's like a question matryoshka type situation. And then, okay, so there's a box, and then...
Hey,
there's a hat in the box. All right. So these questions haven't been tampered with?
Hold on a second. This says, no. This is for Tycho's eyes only at the Q&A. Read this now. It's full of white powder. Ah!
For Tycho's, okay.
So what is it?
I don't know. I haven't felt any dust, so I feel like that's a good play. Stop reading this now. The PAX Europe truth exists.
What?
Brainwash us no further. I don't. He doesn't.
What the hell?
Okay. That's novel.
I don't know, like, if you've been invited to something.
No, I'm not.
I'm not, and also I don't know if I want to be invited to it.
No, I'm not a part of this. I want to emphasize that. I put the hat on because I felt like it would be dangerous not to.
Yeah.
There was a sort of wild, sort of animal look.
That hat was going on your head one way or the other.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, PAX Prime 2015 Q&A. Now, Gabe.
Hey, that's for me.
Have you been able to arrange a meeting with Captain Sparkles yet for young Gabe? This is from Lauren Engel in Portland, Orr.
I did tell him that I could get him in to meet Captain Sparkles, probably.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Like, I feel like PAX is pretty cool. And that if your dad was the guy who made PAX, you could take some pride in that.
So you're saying that you should be enough for him?
This guy is coming to PAX, and he's like a rock star to these kids. So no, I didn't set up the appointment. No, they can meet me. Yeah, his friends can all come in a line. I'll sit at a table.
Just tell him that you're going there. He's like, I've been Captain Sparkles the whole time. Like, just try to sell it.
Yeah.
Just try to sell it.
Uh-oh.
No.
You did the last one. I want to do it.
Right.
It's red. It's red.
It's red, but does that, is that connected with anything factual? I mean, I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Robert doesn't know the difference.
He's colorblind. I mean, I think that, you know what I mean?
All right. What is the best or most important strip you have ever created for Penny Arcade? That's a good question. Overall, or specific to artistic merit, or specific to what the strip addresses?
Interesting.
You know, I'll go, because I have one.
You ready to go? All right.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So, I think you can take all of Penny Arcade and boil it down to one strip. I think that if we ever just made a strip and said that was Penny Arcade, it would be this one.
The distilled version.
Yeah.
There's like the bathtub hooch version.
It's the Mega Man effect.
Right.
Right? Where it's Gabe and Tycho right on the couch. Gabe's playing. He's a little kid happy.
Right.
Tycho's upset. Tycho picks up the controller. He's a little kid happy playing on the couch. Right? Like, I don't know. To me, that's why I play video games. That feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most sort of honest, like, important strip that we've done.
Yeah, like if you wanted to talk about, that definitely gets right to it, I agree. But there's a super old strip that we did that I still look back to sometimes, which is one where it's art criticism from different eras, like going back 200 years,
right?
Where it's like, no matter what the new art form is, it's always universally loathed by people who feel like they get to decide what art is.
And it's not
isn't.
art.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly. So each time they're coming out,
Yeah.
Against cubism or whatever, each time they're coming out and they want to paint a circle around the art that they and their friends like.
Right.
And then the art over here that their friends don't make and they don't care about, that's bullshit. Right?
Well, what's funny is, especially after Kim's presentation, right? Like, how can you look at something that is made
by 500
artists and then say that the end result is not actually art? No. I don't know what happens there at the end. It stops being art.
It's like alchemy in reverse.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned on the podcast and elsewhere that you tried out the Valve VR demo. How was it compared to the Oculus stuff from Mike R. in San Francisco, California? So is it Vive or Vive?
Have they said?
Are they just getting off on the ambiguity?
I thought it was
like no matter what you say, they're like,
yeah. That's
what was that? No, nothing.
I never had that experience.
Oh,
but I've also never said it out loud.
That's it. You just silly the letters. I love the HTC VIVE.
Well, I just say the HTC one. That's been a great one.
Oh, just make it, just kind of dial it down.
And
nice.
I just sound cool. Like I don't even need to say the name. I thought it was better.
Yeah, I haven't. You know what? I have not played the newest Oculus demo.
That's true. Yeah.
And so they have a big booth, and this is going to be my opportunity to check it out. Also, their hardware is definitely. The hardware is definitely farther along, just like from a production standpoint. Because the HTC, like when I played the Valve VR demo, it's like some Lawnmower Man type shit.
You have a belt and a little harness.
No, not a belt. You have a fanny pack.
It's a pack. It's definitely a fanny pack. And I mean, obviously that stuff's not going to be in like the retail version, but
it's like a digital colostomy
you feel kind of like you're going into somebody's garage.
Yeah,
and they're just attaching things to you.
Yeah, and they're okay with it. It's like it's like they're incorporating you into their fetish. Like I bet that none of it's even required. All right, no, you have to be suspended by all this duct tape. I'm sorry, that doesn't work otherwise. And I have to take pictures of you the whole time.
Now I'm going to put the blindfold on. I mean the goggles. No, like the thing for me is that you have all these cables dangling off of you.
Oh yeah, this is super important.
And then the interesting thing about the Vive one. I don't know. How do you want to say it?
Vivar.
We have to decide right now.
No, it has to be like a cologne, like Vivar.
You're standing up and you're walking around the space, which is really interesting, but also scary when you imagine that there's cables all around your feet, right? So I found that disconcerting.
Yeah, you're being bound in an alternate dimension.
Where you can't see the things that are going to trip you up.
That's for some people.
Yeah.
The weak.
But it's really cool because you're in this space, you're on the deck of a ship, and I know that I'm in a meeting room with walls, 6 feet away or so, but all I see is the deck of this ship. And then, as I start to walk and move towards a physical wall, a sort of blue hollow wall appears.
Yes, and it's so gentle.
Yeah.
So that would be the main fear. Have you done any Oculus Rift VR type shit? I mean, hands? Is that
some people?
Yeah, okay. So one of the scary things in there, like when I had the DK2, like the Oculus DK2, and my favorite demo for Oculus DK2 wasn't like a piece of software. It wasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a game or something that someone had made. The best thing that they had was this. It was the driver. Once you had the driver installed and working, you could do a quick test. And that's actually my favorite VR.
A desk?
Yeah.
All you're doing is sitting at a desk.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I know that well. And so if
this is very much like sitting at a desk.
If you simulate a desk for me and it feels real, first of all, that's kind of a challenge. But the thing that made the demo so great was that was the first time, like on DK1, you could get closer or farther away to something. It didn't really matter. It was just like the screen, it was basically, you really knew that there was just a monitor strapped to your face. With this, there's like some plants and like a pencil and a keyboard, and you can like, the closer you get to it, the more detail you get, which as a user interface, getting closer to something and having it become larger is pretty effective. Right?
Works.
We know about that, right? It feels good. But every time my face, I would hit like the keyboard with my face, my own real keyboard, on my desk, or I would be higher up here and it'd be moving, and then I would bite with my mouth the edge of the desk. And these are not great experiences, but
what were you doing? That never happened to me once.
You
could look as close as you want.
And then eat the edge of your desk. You can taste the ancient
That didn't
Dorito.
happen to anyone else who played that demo.
Anyway, but when you're using the HTC Vivar,
I like that one.
As soon as you get to that edge, because that's always in your head. You're like, am I gonna look like a goofus?
I'm gonna walk into a wall.
Yeah, and am I gonna injure myself? inside this digital space. And as soon as you're even getting close to the edge, just a very light grid appears.
But then what that does
is so gentle, and it gives you enough of a head. It gives you enough space ahead,
feet, right?
Yeah, that it never happens. And as soon as you see that and back away, you feel
safe,
completely safe.
And now you can
there.
walk around in here, right?
Yeah.
But today, if you're curious about it, I'm doing a 3D drawing thing at the NVIDIA booth at 3.
Well, that changed your life.
Yeah, I mean, you have a paintbrush in space, and you draw. If I draw a circle. I'm looking at the circle, it works, but then I can step around to the side of it, and it's just hanging there in space.
Yeah. Imagine if you could just paint real things in the universe. And that's basically what this demo does. So I would say the difference, I haven't played the newest Oculus Rift demo. I know that there's one that has multiple people in the same space, and I know they have a couple standing experiences now. And so when you're standing in VR, that's when you get, it's the same reason I like that desk demo. When you're standing in VR, you get the sense that you are in the place. When you're sitting down, there's a lot of other stimuli that doesn't line up. But if you're standing in there and just looking around, it feels real. And the main thing that the Valve HTC product has is that their demos are just impeccable. Every one of those is meant to sell you this fucking thing.
Yeah. No sickness. I always hear rumblings that PAX is going to move from Seattle to some other city. Any comment on that? I'd travel up and down the West Coast for it, but I'm not sure if I'm alone or not. This is from Jeff in Seattle. I haven't heard anything recently about it moving, no.
No, indeed. I've asked Robert, and he says no.
Yeah,
he says no in a way where the word no is also like a period that ends the sentence. Yeah. He says he manages to say no in a way that you can tell it's in capital letters.
Yeah, I think eventually we just gave up on trying to contain PAX inside the convention center, right?
Right.
Now PAX is just downtown Seattle.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Is there an update on the Thornwatch game, Mike Krahulik?
Yes, but I can't talk about it right now. We're doing a panel Sunday, a Thornwatch panel where we will make a very exciting announcement, but I can't say it now.
Yeah, I would just
say... Here, I'll do another. Let's do a red one to make up for that horrible question that you asked. It's a long one.
I feel like my nipples are visible. They seem sharp.
It's very cold up here.
No, there is a sign.
And exciting.
There's a sign posted in the back that says, Arctic wind coming from east of stage.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah.
It is cold. But let me take a look at you.
Oh, yeah. I feel like the sensitivity...
They're popping out.
I feel like I could open a can of tuna fish if I needed... No, that's not what I want.
It's not what you want?
That's not what I want.
It's not what you want?
It's not what I want.
One more time. It's not what you want?
I don't want it.
Okay. No judgment.
I really...
Since the start of Penny Arcade, we have seen the subject matter of the comics start to turn more towards Gabe and Tycho's family life, with comics geared towards raising children around video games and how that creates different challenges as a parent. Do you feel that change in the tone of the comic will alienate younger readers who just want to laugh at elaborately constructed gaming-related fart jokes and can't relate to the characters now that they are family men? This is from Chris in Arizona. I don't think about that ever once.
Yeah, that's almost certainly true. Yeah, exactly. But I think that the difference is so Penny Arcade is just about... Penny Arcade has always been about us.
Yeah.
It's just that we're different.
Yeah.
Right? For us, the Penny Arcade is about exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's very weird to hear it described that way from people sort of on the outside. Oh, the comic is changing so much. And I can see that, if I step back, I can see that the subject matter changes. But it's so bizarre because it's just you and I trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
But now the jokes that we have to tell each other are different, right?
Exactly. And also, I think that we're taking the space of the strip to work on weirder projects. The guys who were doing the other jokes, they didn't make Automata, they didn't make The Lookouts, right?
They didn't make Nightlight.
They didn't make Nightlight, they didn't make Daughters of the Airwood. They didn't make any of those things.
Yeah, if anything, we care less about them now. We'll just put whatever we want on the comic, on the site. I'm sure that's true. We are alienating people, yeah.
You alienator.
I'm always alienating.
You're like a shark.
I got to keep alienating.
All right, Mike. Is this true? Mike, I've noticed that you've been jumping into the forums and comic comment threads more often. Is that something you found worthwhile? We're an unruly bunch. Are you
I've posted
are you contaminated?
No. I think I've made 3 posts.
but that's like
from 0.
Yeah. It's an infinite increase.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Most of them were around Nightlight or during Nightlight, and I felt like I was able to describe.
It's so weird.
It was really weird, and I felt like I was able to add some additional context to some of those strips. Because there's some people who will read a comic like Nightlight and go, "This is shit. Where's my dick joke?" And those people I don't care about. I'm going to alienate them. But there's also people who will read it and go, "It's really interesting, but I don't get it. Like, what's happening here?" And that person, I feel like I've let down, right? Like I said, they like the idea, they want to enjoy it, but for some reason, I didn't execute the comic enough. And so then I kind of feel
it's like the writing's on point, but there's some, right? The writing's on point, and it makes that introduction to the reader, it makes them feel welcome, and then they're cast out, they're alienated by the art.
Do you want to know something crazy? Is Robert here? No? Okay. Because I told him this story. He's the only person I think that, like...
Do I know?
I guess other people... You don't read the forums, so no, you don't know.
No. I'm still pure.
And now you're going to feel super bad.
Oh, no.
The first one I made there...
Do I want to hear this?
Somebody went off on you and said that you are not equipped to write long-form material and that my art was fantastic and that it looks beautiful, but the story makes no sense. And I came in and I said, listen, he writes... a page of dialogue. There's no frames. There's no page numbers used. Sometimes there's a page number. But you just give me text. And then it's my job to tell that story in the number of comics that we have decided.
That's how our relationship works, I guess.
And so I said at the end of that post, if you are not understanding this or if you're having trouble with it, it's my fault.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's what I said.
Thank you.
After what you said, do you have anything you want to say now?
Here's the next question. No, you're great. You're a great person. Does that make it worse?
I've noticed from Katie Rice's updates that she's still at the office. Don't go in there. What are you doing?
I've never noticed that before.
Why would you just open that?
There's gold in there. And gems.
It's been more than a year, so I'm assuming something has worked out. Is there a story behind this? Honestly, this is news to me. I didn't know she was there. I'm going to take care of that right away. Yeah, she's been squatting. She's a hobo.
Yeah. Well, she does have a barrel of garbage in there that she warms her hands over.
That should have been our first clue.
You know what I mean? As soon as she rolled in that barrel.
You might be a hobo if you warm your hands over
a garbage barrel.
Yeah.
No, our arrangement with Katie Rice is that she can stay as long as she wants to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically she won something, but now she's just our friend, and it would be weird to make her leave.
Yeah. Now it's not cool. It'd be like after the year, because I mean, technically speaking, it's like one of the prizes was like a year of office space. And then, I mean, after that, if at that point we'd be like, all right, Katie,
bye.
Get your fucking shit.
Get your shit and get out.
Get out. And if you like hold the door open but like sort of gesture with your head
too,
like a lot of times that gets it across.
But that would, I don't know how you would do that. You'd like have lunch with her all the time. She's hanging out every day playing ping pong.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, year's up. Day 365. Get out.
Yeah. The grand clock. No. I mean, but you actually... I mean, you get a lot of benefit. Like from her being in the office, like you rely on her for stuff.
Oh, having another cartoonist in the office is awesome. Like we have very talented artists, but they're of the designer persuasion.
That's right, of the design tribe.
Yeah. Oh, Dave. Hey, hi. No, you're an artist. Absolutely.
No, Dave. You're a real boy.
But I mean, even Kiko, Kiko will tell you. He'll say, "I can't draw." About himself, right? He's a designer. But
then you have like dual class, like Gavin, right?
Yes, yeah. But no, so for me, having like a cartoonist in there, like someone whose work is so good and that I can go and like show my stuff to is really exciting.
Yeah.
And she helps me draw girl hair all the time. I have no idea how to draw girl hair. I have pages, like she doesn't know this, but she'll come in, I'll be like, Katie, I don't know what to do. And she'll like doodle some stuff on paper, and then she'll leave, and I'll take the paper and I put it in my desk.
No. You take the paper and you slide it towards yourself, and then you're in the lower right-hand corner, you write, Mike Crowley.
This is my hair.
It says, Jerry, if you haven't already, can you sing us a song? All right. Okay, all right.
Do you have any other shanties? I mean, I've heard that one shanty like 100 times.
Ooh.
Oh!
Ooh. Let's see. There's like I could sing a verse of the. I have a second shanty that I could sing, like I have a tertiary shanty, like I have like shanty prime, and then I have like secondary and tertiary. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of
Somebody drop a beat.
Nautical freestyles. That's
Boots and cats and boots and cats and.
Stop that.
Sorry.
It's a damn tough life full of toil and strife we whaler men undergo. And we don't give a damn when the day is done how hard the wind did blow. 'Cause we're homeward bound from the Arctic ground with a good ship taut and free. We're homeward bound from the Arctic ground, rolling down to old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic ground, rolling down to old Maui.
Thank you.
I find it amazing that even after 17 years, Jesus.
Is that real?
I think that's true.
That's like a person. Like people are that old.
After 17
People
years.
are that old.
Penny Arcade could drive. They could get their driver's license.
Yeah. Not just a learner's permit.
Okay. Even after 17 years, Penny Arcade is still thriving. It seems like you've always managed to stay a step ahead with your company. So where is Penny Arcade going next? This is from Alistair.
Yeah.
In Boulder. How would you say that? Is that?
Yeah. Alistair.
That's different from Alistair? Or am I supposed to say, is that how Alistair is written?
It depends on where you're from, right?
I don't like it. Change your name. I don't know. I guess Robert is always staying one step ahead. I'm doing the exact same thing I did 17 years ago.
That's not true. Like the whole pin thing.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. But I just ripped that off from Disney.
Right.
And now we have a Star Wars pin. Fuck them, right? But I think that's incredible.
You don't want to flip off Disney. I think historically that's not.
That's true. I take that back. Maybe they don't know about the Star Wars pin.
No, just retract it.
Yeah.
Just bring it back in. Exactly. But then you also designed a board and card game.
That's true.
Now I guess I am doing exactly the same thing I was doing 17 years ago, right? That's true. But you're finding shit. You're doing stuff, man. You're a cool person.
Thanks. I needed that. Red.
To both Mike and Jerry, have you ever had one of those days where you don't want to wake up? Everything is fucked, and everybody sucks. Elliot, don't say the word fuck. It's a bad word. It's a naughty word. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. These are song lyrics. Wanna do dade? No. What is the worst work day you've ever had at Penny Arcade?
The Worst work day I've ever had at Penny Arcade. Wow, what a crazy question.
God, what is the worst day? Like the worst. Like bad though.
There was that day that bear got in. I don't know, I'm trying to think. So much blood.
And heads, like more heads than there were people.
Yeah, I don't know where the
I don't
extra
know if
heads
the bear
came from.
brought the heads.
He must have. He must have come with heads,
Because they found that wheelbarrow.
so to speak. Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Worst day. I don't know. I have pretty good days. I draw. If I'm not drawing, I'm playing video games or eating lunch with my friends. I mean, sometimes, I ordered that sandwich and I said no guacamole. Remember that?
No, I remember specifically.
I said no guacamole to the lady, covered in guacamole.
Well, no, if it had been guacamole, that'd be one thing. This was actually chunks of
It was
avocado.
like chunks of avocado.
Right?
That was a nightmare. I just went home after lunch. I didn't even go back to the office.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I swear to God, I think that if I complained about my job, lightning would strike me.
Yeah.
And I would be killed. That's what I think would happen.
Yeah.
I actually feel like we're on the precipice of something very dangerous right now.
Yeah, I remember there's a great documentary called The Comedian that Jerry Seinfeld did, right?
Yeah.
And he has a great line in there that has always stuck with me. I watched it very early on, where he was frustrated because he was going to work that day and he had to write a bunch of jokes and he didn't have any ideas. And then he stopped and saw like construction workers like working. And he thought, I need to work hard. Like I have a good job. Like I don't have to complain. Right. Have you? What?
I don't know. You got to read the whole thing.
Have you kissed? I bet you've kissed. Go on. Tell us you've kissed. This is from Captain Dean Connor in London, England.
You can see the face, right? Like in my mind, I've constructed like what that would taste like. And I don't like it.
Well, that's not necessary.
I don't.
You could certainly do a lot worse.
It's like ranch and fetid lettuce in your molars.
That's disgusting.
Is that too much? I don't know.
Why ranch? I don't eat that much ranch.
You do. You do.
You think that the amount of ranch I eat is
unreasonable? What about Ranch Thursdays?
That's a thing? Sure, but that's national holiday. Every Thursday is Ranch Thursday.
No, we don't entirely see each other as full beings. We don't even touch. I think that if I went over there, yeah. I think my hand would just go right through.
I want to believe that. I'm convinced that this is a Fight Club situation up here. Like, we're going to get to the end of Penny Arcade, and it was me the whole time.
No, you're going to leave the stage,
yeah.
And you're going to turn around and you're going to say, hey, thanks for 20 years. And there's no one there.
No one there.
There's a microphone on the ground.
Yeah. And Robert knew, everybody knew.
And they just rode you.
Yeah.
For 2 decades.
He's the good kind of crazy.
Yeah, this is the kind of crazy that you can get away with. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm always telling you how great you are. Like, there's a lot of theory. There's a lot of backup for this now.
I'm like, are you starting to doubt?
No, I'm starting to doubt my own persona.
Right. I got
what?
the hook in. You won't be able to sleep tonight. If you even exist when I'm not here.
But they always rent the extra room just to keep the appearance up. And you think that if you went to that room, you could go in. But if you went to that room and you opened it up, blood.
Why blood?
What is your most memorable D&D moment?
Who would fill it? And whose blood? My most memorable D&D moment?
Yeah.
Well, from a DM's perspective, the most memorable moment I have is when I did the styrofoam globes. I made
Yeah,
planets,
the spheres.
and
No, multiple, like planets.
I made
plural.
planets, painted them, drew grids, painted grids on them, and then put thumbtacks on the bottom of all their minis. And then created a set of rules for them to jump between planets.
No, between worlds.
Yeah. Well, they were fighting in like the elemental chaos.
Oh, I know. No, listen, I got no beef with you. I think this is great. Like this is evidence of my ultimate victory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the student has become the master type situation.
As a player, I still remember that first game as Jim when I went down the stairs, and I'd never played D&D before, and I asked Chris, I was like, can I make the sound of people walking down the stairs? And he's like, yeah.
Wait, and what's so funny is that for Chris, he's just like, well, of course.
Of course you can, but I didn't know if I could do that.
This is Dungeons and Dragons.
But then he rewarded me, like I'm sure it wasn't planned. At the time, I assumed I was being so clever. He's like, zombies hear the sound and come out. And I'm like, ooh.
Well, yeah,
I did?
Well, exactly, right? But it's like when you realize that you're not playing Final Fantasy or something.
Right.
When you realize that all of those systems are completely liquid, and if you can manipulate them, you can change the game state, right? For me, like one of my favorite, like for D&D memories now, coming onto stage at Prime, where we do, because at East, Acquisitions Incorporated is like Acquisitions Incorporated Unplugged, I think is like the technical term. But at PAX Prime, I come out onto the stage, in plate mail. And that feels pretty good.
You have pauldrons.
Yeah, I have pauldrons, plural. But on top of that, my favorite memory was when we did The Secret of Seventh Veil, where we both, we had 2 DMs.
Yeah, that was a star-studded event.
Yeah, 2 DMs and 8 players, where I basically DM'd this party that was like high society, all social interactions. That was it was like an Ocean's 11 type thing, but with halberds.
Because then I DM'd the group that was trying to break into the party and steal something.
And so we had certain things that we could say that would clue the other person into where the other party was. And then obviously eventually there was a dragon, because if you don't have a dragon.
If the group that I was DMing was making too much noise, that would alert your group, right?
And that created skill challenges that they had to manage. It was awesome.
It's pretty cool. We're cool people. I'm ever so slowly getting my girlfriend into nerd culture and gaming. Do you guys have any tips and or tricks from your experience with your significant others that might help further ensnare her? This is Evan in Washington.
Like pit traps?
Like barbed wire?
I don't know, man.
You might be doing it wrong.
I feel like leveraging trap metaphors is probably not the ante you want to go with.
Yeah. Let's see, for Kara, it was Soul Calibur that got her into video games. And Tekken 2? Fighting games, I guess. I mean, you can get it in button mash and they look great.
But she was an FPS beast, too. Do you remember when we used to play Moha?
Used to play Moha a lot, yeah.
Right? But also, do the, tell me about Madden. So for some reason, you were playing Madden.
Yeah, I saw Amy on the street coming here. Is Amy in the audience? Oh, hey. And she plays a lot of Destiny, and she's like, you haven't been playing much. And I was trying to be cool. I was like, oh, yeah, I've been playing Call of Duty. And she's like, no, you weren't. You were playing Madden. We all saw it. They can see what I'm doing. And it's true. Kara and I played Madden together. I was Russell Wilson, and she would be the receiver or the runner guy.
It's like an RPG.
Yeah.
Right.
And we played it till 12:30 at night. I had a lot of fun. It like we said in the comic, it turns out football is just a game. It's like other games.
Sports are games. File it away, I guess.
Yeah. Take that home with you. Sports are games, guys. Don't ever forget.
Let's see. I mean, generally speaking, Brenna doesn't hate games, but she doesn't really like games.
Yeah.
And having separate interests is actually a really healthy part of our relationship. So I think it's okay to have different things that you like also.
Yeah.
I think that relationships where you are not constantly in physical contact can also function.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. NASA says that alien life will be discovered by 2025.
Wow.
This is great news. That's what I want from these questions.
Just
I
put
want
that down. I want
to
facts.
learn.
Today I learned, Hat.
Is this realistic, or are there already aliens among us?
I don't know that I'm qualified to answer that.
The back is just symbols. More importantly, is Mike an alien? This is from Chris in Puyallup, Washington.
I don't know what to tell you, Chris.
I don't know how to help
I
you,
think
man.
you might be asking the wrong people.
It seems like Chris knows.
Yeah.
He needs to ask the man in the mirror.
He needs to start with the man in the mirror. Sing it.
No, you sing it.
I can't sing.
You can. Michael Jackson songs you can sing. For some reason.
Is that true?
Yes. For some reason you can't sing anything else. Like Fast Car, no. You know what
Shut
I mean?
up. I can sing Fast Car. What are you talking about?
Mm-mm. For some reason, Michael Jackson songs, I don't know what the loophole is.
No, I'm not singing it. I can't sing. It's very frustrating because, I consider myself a creative person. I'm very smart. I like to draw. I like to paint. I like to... there's nothing... I can't sing. I don't even understand it. And it drives me insane. Because a song will come on and Jerry or Kara will just start singing to it. Just sing it in the right key or whatever you guys call it. Note. I don't know.
The right music town.
Pisses me off. I can't sing Fast Car?
I don't know what that is, but it's not Fast Car.
Fast Car comes from the heart. I feel like no matter how you sing Fast Car, you're singing Fast Car right.
Fast Car is for all of us.
Yeah. If your children wanted to follow in your footsteps, but wanted to do it by getting an expensive private arts degree, would you pay for that degree from the stack of JPEG money? This is from Courtney in Seattle. Absolutely. I mean, even now when people come up and say, what do you recommend I do if I want to be an artist? I say, go to school. Just because it worked out for us, I don't think that's good advice. I don't think, you know what, just fuck off. Move in with your buddy. Live off top ramen. Play video games all the time. Maybe something cool will happen. That's not advice. Now as a father, I look back and I go, no wonder my dad was worried. Yes, I would pay for it.
Exactly. Because it doesn't look like success.
No, and for a long time it wasn't.
It doesn't seem like success.
Yeah, and
right?
the reality is that we were doing stuff. We were working hard and trying to make something, but there was no guarantee that it would work out.
I still think you should move in with your buddy and eat ramen for a couple of years. We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that. Congratulations on your Automata Kickstarter. Yeah, right?
There's
pretty
Van
cool.
right there.
Van, you need
No pressure. It just has to be amazing.
Yeah. As soon as you leave here, I want you to film some robots. Just kind of.
Do you have anything you can show right now? I'm sure it's halfway done, right? Oh.
Just get in the habit of filming robots, and I think that's going to lead to success. I was one of the backers, and I can't wait to see both the rewards and the finished project. How confident are you when these campaigns go live? Do you know you'll fund? It seems like a foregone conclusion at this point.
Wow, that's great to hear.
From James R. in Seattle. I'm glad that you think so, James.
Yeah, it never feels that way inside the company. Everybody is just watching their computers constantly refreshing all day, biting their fingernails.
No, I find it super scary. Because I never think that any of it's going to, you know me, I never think that any of it's going to go right.
Yeah, you're very much, I'll be I feel good about this one, maybe, and you're like, nope, it's failure. It's never going to happen. I'm not going to get to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, in my mind,
we
it's
might get $5.
Yeah, it's in my mind, it's going to end, it's $400,000 or whatever. It's going to end at $399.
And everyone gets their money back.
And then I'll know.
Yeah.
I'll know. Because there's going to be that signal from the universe that I went one bridge too far.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because it's a different project each time. It's I guess if you're a company that keeps making miniatures games, and every time you do a Kickstarter...
Yeah, greater than.
Right. Then you have something to go on. For us, it's hey, let's kickstart our podcast. That worked.
Sure, let's kickstart the company.
Yeah, that worked. Let's kickstart a weird show about film noir robots.
And sex.
Maybe?
Yeah. right?
How do you know?
Yeah, I would say that you don't, and I would say that you spend a month basically freaking
Red?
out. I guess.
It's short. As of this submission, both Robert and Jerry have shaved bald heads.
Perfect heads.
What can the PAX audience do to get Mike to shave his head to match? There's not somebody behind me, is there?
There's a zzz. No. It's like, so that's how you'll be able to join the triumvirate.
This is from Gong Zero in the Penny Arcade forums. That's a no from my wife. I have hair, and I like it. I mean, sometimes you got to get it cut, sure, but
not all the way.
yeah, for most of the part, I think it works out pretty well for me. I'm going to keep it going forward. It's a strategy I intend to maintain.
How do you decide on the game for the first 15 show? We don't. All the selections seem way out there. This is from Avery in Spokane, Washington. And they are out there because Josh Price, who produces that show, chooses those games precisely to as acts of aggression. He basically has weaponized his game choices.
We've decided that we're going to submit ourselves to whatever games he gives us. And it's actually been really cool. Like, we played some stuff.
Oh, yeah, exactly. For me, top line, I'd be like, okay, number 1, no anime shit. Number 2, no racing games.
Yeah.
You know
Number
what
3,
I mean?
no farm simulators.
But
Farm Simulator was great.
But I've been wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I'm wrong.
Consistently.
Exactly.
And not just about this. Yeah, Farming Simulator was great, but also I never would have played Cabela's Big Game Hunter, and that was ridiculously fun.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like, I don't
you
know.
brought a zebra to a gunfight. I had a blast.
No, and then, but there's some smaller indie stuff. Like, the reality is that it's like, I mean, I sort of know what I like to play now, and I seek that stuff out.
Well, that's the thing.
Like,
I didn't
deception.
realize that that's what I was doing.
Well, yeah, I didn't realize that my scope was so narrow.
Right.
Right? And then a lot of this stuff I end up liking, or we keep on playing, right?
Yep. It's really weird that you're lurking back there taking pictures. It's definitely a lurk.
No, we just see the glint
situation.
of the lens like a
through
sniper
a curtain?
scope in the distance.
Jerry,
Ah,
how was Scotland? You mentioned on the podcast that you went, but did you get to drive a boat?
yeah, I legit lived on a boat for about a week. Yeah, Scotland was super cool. When I went to Italy and Germany, I like wrote about it every day, and then the Scotland trip, like it was me,
A vacation.
and Brenna. Yeah, me and Brenna and Ronya and Elliot, and then Brenna's parents. So it was like a full house. It was a very densely packed thing. I should probably just go back. I should probably go back to Scotland, alone.
Yeah, I mean, what? No, you should go and write about it though on the site.
Yeah. No, it was a really interesting place. Like, it's sort of like we were talking about the games that we like, and we get sort of funneled into this very specific thing.
Yeah.
Well, over here, we think that there is like one Scottish accent, and it's the accent of the dwarves in World of Warcraft.
That's not the case?
No, every Scottish person I talked to sounded completely unlike every other Scottish
that's right.
person.
What was this guy, what did he say to you? You told me what he said.
Which one?
Because I tried to parse it, and I couldn't figure it out either. He was like some guy in a little town that you got to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all I could make out, the guy whose dog was named Haggis.
You didn't tell me about his dog.
Oh, so every place that you go to, so like if you're in Edinburgh, let's say, sometimes you hear the dwarf from World of Warcraft. And then a bunch of other times, people will make sounds, and it will take you like 5 seconds to recognize it as an English.
Huh.
Like, and so, but you get really good at that nodding, like, yeah, right? And then hopefully by the time they started their next sentence, you have parsed the last one so that you can be a productive member of that conversation. But when there's a place called, so we basically lived on this super long, like a 65-foot boat It's really low, and it just has little rooms in there for everybody, and like a kitchen and shit. It was banging, but you basically drive these boats up and down these rivers. It's like the old highway, basically. Yeah. And the farther you get from Edinburgh, the less you know what people are saying. And I had a complete conversation with someone where I didn't understand any of it, but we were both kind of okay with it, sure. And then we went our separate ways. But he had no less than 3 dogs named Haggis.
Wow. It's a little on the nose.
Yeah. I mean,
did you remember what he said?
No.
You serious? You went through that whole story? You don't remember what he said?
Uh-uh.
I thought that's what you were leading up to.
No, I couldn't make sense of it.
You're going to stop the story with, it was this guy, he had 3 dogs.
No, yeah, the languages, right? I think that's how it ends. Is that not?
You don't remember. You were asking directions to someplace.
Was I?
Oh my God, you got to tell this story.
No, if you know the story, you can tell it to me.
I don't remember how he said it. You had like a description for the way he pronounced something that sounded bizarre, and I had no idea what it was.
Oh, no, that's when we were coming back. So what happens is that it's a different guy. It's a different guy. So sometimes the river is up here, and your boat is down here, and you need a way to get from down here to up there. And so there's like a lock, which is like a ladder for a boat, and there's no rungs. It just fills up with water. It's like a bathtub type thing. And then that closes up, and then your boat comes up there, and then you keep going. But we had met these guys when we left the locks, and it was the same guys when we came back.
What did he say?
Oh, yeah, no problem. He asked me if I had eaten at the Bridge Inn. And I was like, no. Because I could tell that whatever he was saying, I should say no.
Yeah.
I could tell that would have reflected poorly on me.
Okay.
And so I was like, no way, I would never do that. And then I realized that he was talking about a restaurant that we had eaten at. Called the Bridge Inn.
Bridge Inn.
The Bridge Inn. But it's the Bridge Inn. I don't know. And we didn't eat there.
That was so horrible that you told all of that story and got to that one part.
I'm sorry.
Wasn't even as good as I remembered. Nightlight has been, without a doubt, the single most powerful story arc that you've done. As a parent, it's obviously, God, I hope that collapses. I hope it just goes, and you fall straight down. As a parent, it's obviously up my alley. But from the comments, there are clearly people that just want you to keep doing your her dick jokes, which I still love, by the way.
Sure.
How do you deal with that? From Mason. We do both.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's people who aren't going to like Nightlight, but it's my website. So, I don't feel too bad taking the site over for 2 weeks to do something that is super important to me.
Right.
And if you don't like it, come back in 2 weeks and we're back to Witcher jokes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think, especially with something like Automata, let's say, which is not really in the dick continuum.
Yeah.
Or with Nightlight, the reality is that with Automata, we were able to make an Automata thing that is not in the strip. So now
we made a whole series outside the continuum.
That's right. And then we were able to run that alongside. But also, like with Van, that's something that we can make a video of while we're still focusing on the dick in the strip proper with a laser focus. Or like as Nightlight, we're having what I would describe as really interesting conversations with people about writing a script for Nightlight, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Now that the Automata project blew the doors off, would you consider doing one for a Lookouts animated series?
Can you draw it all, Van? No, we won't.
Can you draw good?
Can you draw and make them move? No. I would love a Lookouts animated series, like a Saturday morning style.
No, because for me, can you see the title sequence for Lookouts?
Oh yeah, them running through the woods, jumping on monsters.
In my mind, I know when the logo comes out.
Yeah.
And all the characters are around the logo. I have the intro to that show frame for frame.
I know. I mean, for us, or I guess it's more a thing for Robert of if we're going to kickstart something as a company, that's a big ask of our audience. We don't want to do that, all the time. So when the opportunity comes that we feel like, all right, I think we could do a Kickstarter now, choosing what that project is very hard. It's very difficult. I mean, we have so many things that we would like to do.
No, yeah, exactly. Like heaps of things that you do. Like
but,
I would,
and Lookouts animated series is very, very near the top of that list.
Like I would like to do Lookouts, Thornwatch Game, Strip Search. Like there's 1,000,001 things that we could put together.
Yeah. But how often can you ask people to help you do one of those things? Once a year, twice a year? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is.
This is a very short one. One sentence. How would you define a, quote, good game? Jimmy in Anaheim. How would you define a good game?
That's exciting. It's like really small. But,
yeah.
But it's unfolding. It's like an origami creature.
You have to do it for yourself, right? You have to do a personal thing.
Exactly. I mean, I think that there may not be a universal.
Oh, there's absolutely not.
You know what I mean? Trying to define what that is in a universal sense, I think, is a fool's errand.
Absolutely. For me, a good game...
For you, a good game, I think, reveals itself through its art.
Yeah, it definitely has to...
It has to get things right. I mean, obviously, it can't. These other things can't be wrong, but it has to express itself to you visually.
Yeah, it has to have a good art style, and it also has to capture me right away. Like within the first 30 to 45 minutes of a game, I have to be hooked on it. Yeah. Or I probably won't touch it again.
Exactly. And I don't need it. I don't need like the launch phase of this thing to get all the way into orbit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
I can.
What?
Yeah. So let's say that when it starts out, like I don't need the first half hour or even 45 minutes
to be interesting or
set
compelling.
That template. Like I don't need it to, like let's say in Destiny or Halo, they establish this loop.
This is what you're going to be doing in our game.
That's right. And then later on there's larger versions of that loop.
Yeah.
But they've established that framework for you to be in. I don't necessarily need that to happen. What I need in a game is for there to be room in there for me to fill in some gaps. Like I actually need story-wise, like and mechanics-wise, I need there to be a place for me to like insert myself, right?
So to speak.
Euphemistically.
Right.
I need, like, Darkest Dungeon is a good example, where there's things that are defined about it and there's things that are not defined about it. There's a bunch of complicated systems, and I can sort of figure out, like, I can, pick and choose pieces of that and put together a game for me inside there, right? The Witcher is another good example. Like, there's a lot of it that is ambiguous.
Well, that's it. Sometimes they cross over. Like, I like The Witcher, too.
Exactly. So we can...
But I've never played Darkest Dungeon because I don't like the art.
Exactly. Right. So there's gonna be parts where it dovetails. Do you have any fun or interesting suggestions?
No. Sorry, keep going.
For things to do in Seattle. What is it about this city that made you decide to stay here, both personally and professionally?
Came here because you came here.
Yeah, and I came here because it was a condition of marriage to Brenna.
So we're all here because you got married.
She exerts a gravity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I came to visit you guys when you were living in Fremont.
Yes.
I was still living in Spokane.
And you determined immediately that it was not for you.
I couldn't live in Fremont. Yeah, I came over here and I was like, oh my God, we're going to have to keep doing the strip apart?
Yeah,
or,
we're going to have to keep doing the strip in IRC.
Yeah. Or we stopped doing Penny Arcade because I cannot live here.
Right.
And that night, some people that we were with took us to the other side of the lake to Kirkland, where there used to be an arcade called Quarters. And I saw Kirkland, and I was like, oh my God, I could live here.
Yeah, all my favorite brands.
There's a Red Robin. There's parking.
There's Olive Garden.
Yeah.
The OG.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, well, I can't live in Seattle, but I can live 30 minutes away, right?
Close enough.
Local
call.
Yeah. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I am super fan of this town. But right now, in terms of interesting suggestions for things to do, I don't know if I would spend your time here acquiring a beer habit. And because we know how to do this. This is something that we know how to do.
There's also something called green tourism now.
Oh, I guess there's something else you could do while you're here also. I won't even look.
Mike has talked openly about his experiences with his children and gaming on the podcast and in his posts. But I would love to know what Jerry has struggled with. Have your children been in similar situations to Mike's, or have you found that your approach to balancing gaming and life are different? This is from Kelly in Chicago, and I can tell you that they are night and day different.
Oh, absolutely. So this is about whether or not you constrain like screen time, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just in general, like, I play games. When you play games at home, it's at night, right?
Yeah.
And you're alone.
Yeah. Most of the time.
But I play games like in the middle of the day in front of them
with no pants.
No pants on, letting them see how Daddy games.
Yeah. The right way.
The right way.
Bring up a child in the way they should go. Right. It's in the Bible. But when it comes to that, like, I would say that that's actually expanded a little bit. So the period of time, like between daytime and nighttime, there's a period where typically,
dusk.
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
Twilight.
I don't know. Is this a game?
I did everything I could to avoid the word twilight.
Okay.
But with a lot of times, what we've been doing at night, and this is super, super fun, is Ronya really likes Pokemon.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But she likes it in a different way than Elliot likes it, which is a different way from the way I like it. But we all get around, like lay down on the ground.
And get something out of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody's doing it. And so it's like, Elliot's like the tactician. So he's got the decks out, and he's like, Dark Psychic. And then he's like, he's like matching up our crew.
Yeah.
And then for Ronya, naming the creatures. And when they level up, like she has a really close relationship with the creatures that's independent of the systems. So I would say we're trying to work more of that in. Another game that is super awesome to play as a group is Scribblenauts Unlimited.
Sure.
On the Wii U, that is a beast because anybody can play that. Like in the same way that like when you play Dungeons and Dragons, when that moment where you realize that you can really do almost anything. Like Scribblenauts is the closest to that feeling.
Just to be able to write it.
Exactly. It's a super super good family game. Who are some of the creators that inspire you most? Artistically, comedically, literarily.
We have no clock up here. Or no, that is working now. It wasn't working for a while. So I think we have like 4 minutes left or so.
Yeah, it's all good. We got it under control. Anyway, this is from Michael Fox. So Morak.
Yes.
Who inspires you most artistically, comedically, and literarily?
This is funny, actually. I'm going to read it. Because I'm so lucky. Like, our jobs are ridiculous. So my main artistic influence is Steven Silver. For a long time...
Clerks Animated, Kim Possible.
Clerks, Kim Possible. Yeah, he's a very talented artist, does all kinds of stuff. But in terms of me wanting to learn how to draw and get better, he was always the person that I looked at for inspiration. I got a mail from him one day ago that says, "Hi, Mike. Hope all is awesome with you. Just thinking of you after looking at your beautiful comic. All the best, Steven Silver." I mean, that's amazing.
What the fuck are you supposed to do with that? Print it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to even respond to that. It's incredible.
Well, you haven't gotten back to him?
No, I did. I just said, "Oh, no, thanks. I'm trying real hard."
Yeah, and then like bore emoji, like, just to kind of bring the tension down.
Yeah, I mean, we're so lucky that we're in a position where we get to meet like all of these people that inspire us, like Gary and Pat, and I mean, we meet so many great creative people.
Oh yeah, Chris, right?
Yeah,
Chris Stroud, Scott. It's crazy.
Yeah,
like it's legitimately crazy. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to write super long form stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, that involves doing a lot of reading. And I think I need to just psychically harvest Pat Rothfuss when he's here. Just
drain him.
No,
yeah.
just knead that beard like dough.
That's where all of it is.
You know what I mean? Like I know
you give it one squeeze, it's all going to come out. Whatever it is, I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
We have time for one more?
Yeah,
probably?
we got it.
Make it a
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Put that one
Go
back
ahead and
in.
read that one. This one.
Oh, okay. How did you decide to start Penny Arcade? Do you enjoy how the trading of pins and community surrounding it has evolved? Or is there something about the pin trading system that you wish you could change? Kelly in Chicago. I am beyond... I was just talking to somebody about this a couple weeks ago. When I first wrote the very first news post about Penny Arcade announcing it, I said, right now, we've got a couple pins of Gabe and Tycho and some Penny Arcade characters. What I want in the future, ideally, like pie in the sky dream, is that you would go to the Microsoft booth, play a Halo game, and you get like a Master Chief pin or something, right? I mean, we have Star Wars pins now. We have Minecraft pins. We have Portal pins out there. It's insane.
TF.
Yeah. I'm so happy with that and the community around it. The trading event is one of my favorite things at PAX every year.
It's a hoot. So do you like have stuff in your backpack that you like hoard
Oh, yeah.
for the pin trading event, and then during the event, like over the 2 hours, it's like Pat Rothfuss pipes,
I'll just put a Hannah out.
Tiamat,
Yeah.
and then someone sees it, and you make their whole fucking show.
Yeah, it's
Right?
the best.
Yeah, this was a super bad idea.
Oh, the red envelope?
Jerry in a God damn it!
What is it?
God.
Do we really have 15 minutes left?
No. Jerry, in a recent podcast, you mentioned some difficulties you were having getting in the B. Is this a problem that is related to your cessation of Lexapro? As a guy with crippling intimacy issues, I can identify with your decision to fold socks.
What the fuck? What are you talking about? Getting in the B.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's talking
No, there's a podcast where I described my anxieties about trying to make an appeal, an overture, if you will, to Brenna vis-a-vis.
Oh! Why would they ask that in a question you were going to answer on stage? Is there a problem that is related to your cessation of Lexapro?
No. So you know how like if you have like a vacuum and like you can hit that button and like the cord just rolls right in?
Yeah.
That is what's happening to my penis right now. It is coiled between my lungs.
Did you really stop Lexapro? You're not on Lexapro.
No, I'm not on Lexapro.
No.
I
Explains a lot.
No, I pump iron.
You go to the church.
Yeah, I go to Iron Church.
Have you had any side effects from the cessation of Lexapro? Let's answer it that way.
No, I don't think it's connected to the cessation of Lexapro. I don't think. Now I'm freaking out.
I think that's a fair anxiety to have.
I think this is a question that generates anxiety.
Yeah, I don't think that that's bad. I think that you can be off Lexapro and still have that anxiety.
No.
I'm going to let you have that one.
No, I think a big part of it is that I got to be, whatever age I am now, right? And then I realized that I realized that I could be much better at I realized I could be much better at my job. I realized I could be a much better husband and father, and I'm still trying to figure that out.
That's a good answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, PAX Prime, thank you.
I used to rock microphones.